Are you hoping that this is the year that consistency shows up and that your game finally clicks? Now, if you've been stuck at an intermediate or level or above for the last several years, today I'm going to show you 3 things that you can do to level up your game in the coming year. Hey everybody, my name is CJ Johnson, and together with my partner Tony Roy, we help pickleball players over 50 live their best lives on and off the pickleball courts. Mistake number 1 that I see intermediate players make is they think they have to turn their serve into a weapon. And by doing that, that causes mistakes and inconsistency. Now here's the thing, in pickleball, it's not the same as tennis. Pickleball, the serve team doesn't have an advantage. They actually have a disadvantage because of the 2 bounce rule. So by adding a lot to the shot, by trying to do too much with the shot, the players lose the actual objective of the serve. And the objective of the serve is really twofold. It's to make it more difficult on the return team and to give the serve team potentially an easier third shot. Instead of using a serve, which is typically pretty simple, 4 feet or so from the baseline in the center of the box, which will drive their opponents deep, they think they need to take a lot of chances with the serve. So what they start to do is they start to aim for the sidelines. They start to think about a serve that'll bring their opponents out wide. Or perhaps they look and they say, I'm going to target my opponent's backhand. And now by trying to get at the backhand, they bring the center line into play. Not only do you waste your brain power trying to compute all of those things on the serve, what typically happens is your motion becomes much more complex, and because of that complex motion, you become less consistent. So let's fix that. Let's talk about the serve, and let's use the simple ground stroke mechanic that you use with all the rest of your forehands. So the very first thing is I want to have a nice relaxed motion where the paddle travels low to high. So whether I'm using a volley serve or a drop serve, I want that same nice relaxed arm swing low to high. So relax, get the tension out of the forearm. If I have my wrist cocked, first of all, I could have an illegal serve, but I'm also going to put a lot of tension in my arm. So I just want to relax my arm and focus on the paddle traveling from low to high. Now, step number 2 to help you to get a little bit more depth on that shot is to use your legs. So whether or not you're using a volley serve or a drop serve, one of the things that I would recommend is turn your body towards your target. So I'm thinking about my arm swinging at my target, and I want to position my body in such a way that it allows the arm to swing at that line, and at the same point in time, that body motion or the rotation of my body is going to help me to get some extra depth on the shot. So it's going to look like this. I'm here, this time I'll use the drop serve. I'm here with that nice relaxed arm. I'm here, and my body simply follows through and rotates. So it's one nice relaxed piece. Step number 3 is big targets. I want to think of a circle the size of a hula hoop, about 4 feet from the baseline. If I've got it in the center of the box, that target, then I give myself maximum safety in terms of getting it in. When you get that nice deep serve, you make the returner's job so much harder, and you make your third shot much easier. So focus on the things in your serve that really matter. Are you planning to attend a pickleball camp this year? If you are, grab our free guide, The 3 Biggest Mistakes pickleball players make when choosing a pickleball camp, and more importantly, how to avoid them. When you're at the non-volley zone line, what you want to do is you want to position yourself in a way that you're ready for the hard shot. Too often what I see happen with players is they get very flat-footed, they get their weight back on their heels, their paddle tends to drop, and so when the ball comes hard, they're not prepared for it. So this is typically what I see is players stand real tall, that paddle starts to drop, and then they float one, and when the ball comes hard, the paddle's way down here, they're standing very stiff, and there's no time to react. So instead, what I want to make sure is the very first thing I think about at the non-volley zone line is my feet. I want to make sure that my weight is on the front part of my foot. In our system and in our Better Pickleball Academy, we call it our triangles, the front part of the foot. But I want to make sure that my weight is always forward. When my weight is forward and my feet are light, when I'm feeling light, I'm able to move more efficiently here at the non-volley zone. So if I float one, I wasn't ready for that one, which that's okay. But if I float one, I am now in a position where I am in a better position to be able to react. But it's not just feet. We also want to talk about what's going on with the paddle position. So one of the things at the non-volley zone line is I want to be here, but I don't want to have my paddle position real low. In fact, I've got another video right up here. Just click this link. It'll tell you all about paddle position and how to change your paddle position. But I want to have my paddle position up here out in front of me, and I want to have it ready to be able to defend that hard shot. So I'm on my triangles, and then the next part is I've got my paddle position. I'm coming back here to a ready position so that if she gets a shot that she can attack, let me see if I can give her one. If we're here and she gets a shot that she can attack, I am in a position where I am at least able to defend. You can see my paddle here is up. My paddle was not down. So I'm in a position where I can potentially fend off that attack. Mistake number 3. If just playing made you better, chances are you'd probably already be there. Now, it's an easy one to fall into because when we first started playing pickleball, we got out, we played, and we automatically got better. But then our skills plateau. And frankly, what we need is more repetition, not necessarily more playtime. I want to focus on hitting a dink and getting back to my ready position. Maybe I want to focus on hitting a dink and getting ready for an attack, getting ready to block the ball. But I can do that all without having a partner. 10 balls. I can practice most any shot I want to. You want to add some complexity? That can be easy to do. Toss the ball up, let it bounce. Now move to a position to be able to hit it. We're going to start that second position again. Now the first level of doing that, if I'm working on a dink, is, and you can do a lot with just 10 balls. I mean, here all I was doing was basically dropping the ball into the same place each and every time just to gain a little consistency. Once you get solid with that, once you're comfortable with that, now let's move the ball around. You can take the ball up, let it drop, and then hit the shot. You could squeeze it, maybe put a little spin on it, and then hit the shot. So you can vary the feed, which is going to make you move around the court. It's going to help you to develop the relationship between where the ball is and the paddle in your body. And frankly, that's one of the most complex relationships that there is being able to get to the same, or essentially the same position each and every time. Because when we can do that, that's when our consistency is going to increase. Now here's the other thing, is this doesn't have to be a long 30, 40 minute drill session. I can come here and all I need to do is do this 10 or 15 times. I could even take here, I'm at a wall, I could even take and I can hit a ball off a wall a few times so that I can get ready to play. 10 balls in a basket, using a wall, those are great practice partners. And again, you don't have to do this for hours in a day. If you do, great, that's fantastic. But 5-10 minutes of concentrated practice is going to get you a lot of reps. One of our members in our pickleball system once told us that he was working on his third shot and he only got 15 third shots in a matter of 3 games. How long does it take you to play 3 games? You can probably get 15 third shots in about 2 minutes. Just stand here at the baseline and hit the ball into the non-volley zone. Again, if you want a little bit more complexity, go ahead and toss the ball up. So you have to move into place and then hit the shot. The point here is repetition is what's going to help you to move past that intermediate level and become the player you want to be. And it doesn't have to be long, 5-10 minutes at a practice session, but that's one of the keys to moving forward in the coming year. So as you get ready for a new year, improvement is going to likely come not from doing more. It's going to come from doing intentional things. Get clear on what you're trying to do, cast away the clutter, and you're going to find yourself at the next level in the coming year. Because together, we can train smart, live bold, and age well.